most draw on the board. What's up, MP? Can you hear me now? Hello, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Slick says, all right, you guys can. I had to like literally, because here's what happened. Someone called during the stream and it must have messed it up. So I closed the app and reopened it real quick. So it seems like it works now, good. So what I was saying is that, we had 111 people on the TikTok stream. And I know that when we come over here, there's gonna be way less people. But I don't really care because the people that are over here went from TikTok to come over here. You guys, you're a higher quality person. You're probably, I'm not saying this to flatter you. I'm just saying I've done this a lot. It's my experience that most people won't do anything to help themselves. So you're showing that you're actually someone that will take action, that will try to learn things and is looking to actually better themselves, to become a better investor, etc. I'll just ask real quick, put a 1 in the chat if that sounds like you, that you actually do things to get better at investing, probably maybe to get better at business, to make more money, to actually learn skills. Put a 1 in the chat if that's you, if you understand that skills are valuable. Slick, Empy, Nick, Up, Down, Trent. Because in my experience, like, skills are the things that make us money, right? And DeFi is a skill. A skill, even though it's been around for almost 7 years, a skill that far less than 1% of people in crypto know how to use, right? So why is that? Because they won't put in any effort to do anything, right? They don't invest in themselves, right? They don't put in any time, anything like that. But if you're over here, I assume you're the type of person that invests in themselves, acquires skills, grows skills, and understands all this stuff, okay? So I'm just gonna dive straight into it. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use this convenient board over here. So I'll show you real quick, right? So I'm over here, right? And if you look at, I don't know, get out of my way. So if you look here, so this is Coinbase, Bitcoin, and stablecoin, okay? This is what's called a liquidity pool, okay? And at the current moment, I can be, if I'm providing liquidity between these prices, I can get 163% yield. And that's paid to me in Bitcoin and stablecoin. Save your questions, just listen. It's gonna be more valuable for you, I swear. And there's multiple places you can do this. Here's another one where this is stablecoin and Coinbase Bitcoin. This is paying 86% as long as you're between these prices. And here's another one of my favorite places. This is Bitcoin, unit Bitcoin, and Tether stablecoin. This is currently paying, where's the yield? Oh, there it is, about 158%. And to be very clear, that yield is paid in Bitcoin and stablecoin, right? So say 50% yield. 75% of that yield is going to be paid to you in Bitcoin. The other 75% is going to be paid to you in stablecoin. Put a 2 in the chat if you at least understand that yield is paid to you in Bitcoin and stablecoin. Half and half, basically. And I'm sure you have questions, save them. I'm probably going to answer them, and then other ones you didn't even know of. And then there will be a time for questions. Right now, this is a class. I'm teaching. You guys came over here. I want to teach you some stuff. I want to teach you how this stuff works. So let me do this. I have to hold my phone and do this because I don't have a freaking notepad thing on my computer. I don't know where it is. Let's say you take, well, let me ask you guys this. I'll use a number. On this, if you're able to get this yield, right, and passively every day it's paying you in Bitcoin and stablecoin, comfortably, how much money would you put, and like be serious, don't try to be cool, like comfortably, how much money would you have to delegate to getting this kind of yield to earn yourself Bitcoin and stablecoin? I just want to get there's no right or wrong answer. I'm just gauging to where you guys are at. There's no wrong amount. 2,500, 9 to 15, 10,000, 500, 5,000. Okay, and that's kind of what I figured. You know, I figured most people are going to be somewhere between 1,000 and 10,000. Totally good, totally fine. So, and what's beautiful about this is, you know, say you put in, you know, $2,000, right? Well, you can add to this, right? So every time you get a paycheck or every time you get paid, you can add into this, right? You can build the position to be bigger and bigger. You can also close it out. You can take it all out. You can take your yield, all that stuff whenever you want, right? You can literally put money in and take it out, right? You put money in, you're getting yield. If you want to take some out, take some out. You can take out your yield whenever you want to. There's no fees, no penalties, nothing like that. And if you want to add to it, it's not really going to affect the percentage that you get, but it will affect the amount that you get, right? Because if you're getting 150% yield on $1,000, you're getting 150% on 10,000. Obviously, you're getting 10 times as much net, not net. How do I say it? All right, on $1,000 in a year, on 150%, well, you'd be making 1,500. Half of that Bitcoin, half stablecoin. If you got $10,000, you'd be making 15,000. Half Bitcoin, half stablecoin. Now, these interest rates do fluctuate, but I find that if you use the right ones, that it's averages. I average around 100%, okay? So let's do this. I'm gonna take an amount of money you guys, most of you were comfortable with, or you had to throw into something like this. Not that you should necessarily start here, you should start small, but let's say you got $2,500, right? $2,500 to throw in, okay? That you're like, I'm gonna dabble in this. So if you're getting, you know, 100% yield, we'll say, on average over the year, that's going to equal about 1,250 BTC and 1,250 stables, okay? Pretty crazy, right? So I took this, so you would have taken this $2,500, put it into this liquidity pool, which I'll tell you how all that works soon, like where this, because you got to ask, where's that yield coming from? Is it fake? Is it real? Where's this coming from? We'll get into that. So $2,500, you put it there and you just let it sit, and you can take it out whenever you want. You can add to it whenever you want. You can take out some of it whenever you want. You can take out some or all of your yield whenever you want, and your yield, your actual yield, your Bitcoin and your stable coin are building up every day. Like, break that down. What is that per day? Let me find a calculator real quick. So if we got 2,500 in there, right? Let's divide that by 365. So you'd be earning, close to $7 a day. Half of that would be Bitcoin. Half of that would be stablecoin. Put a 1 in the chat if you're understanding that, right? If you're getting 100% yield on $2,500, that means every day you're earning about $7, half of it in Bitcoin, half of it in stablecoin. Put a 1 if you understand that. Okay, good. And I'll be asking you stuff like that along the way because I want to make sure you're understanding, because if you get stuck at something, then it's going to be hard to understand the next stuff, right? And it is paid to you every day, right? So you'll see your balances grow every day, and you can see what's called your claimable amount, meaning you can click a button and you can claim your Bitcoin, you can claim your stablecoin. You can claim some of your Bitcoin, some of your stablecoin, whatever you want. There's no one stopping you. There's no one saying yes. There's no one giving you approval or stopping you from doing anything, okay? It's not like a bank or any of this other stuff. You can add as much as you want. You can take out whenever you want. There's no penalties, no fees, nothing like that. Already off the bat, that's pretty dope, right? Like, that's pretty great to understand, hey, I don't need permission for any of this. All I need to do is learn how to do this, and I can do it. And no one can stop me or keep my money or take it or tell me what I can and can't do. That's pretty awesome. So that's that part. Let me erase this. So how does all this work? Let me erase this crap. How does all this work? So here's how it works. Am I erasing? My eraser sucks. Oh, there's some spray stuff. Okay. Maybe that helps. A little bit. Yuck. Look at that. I spray that crap on there, it gets all, that's stupid. All right, whatever. All right, so how does all this work? Where does this yield come from? I'll ask you real quick, take a guess. Where do you think that yield comes from? I'll keep this as a case. Where do you think that yield comes from? Taxes? No, it doesn't come from taxes. Shorts? Nope, good guess. So, speculation? Not really. I mean, maybe kind of. Not really. Gains, not really. Loans? No, although those things are available in DeFi. You can do borrowing and lending. But that's not what this particular one is. This is my favorite one. That you can get yield in DeFi from being a lender. You can absolutely do that. You won't get this type of yield at all. This particular strategy I'm showing you is my favorite by far. So I call this strategy, I call it this. I call it being Coinbase. Being Coinbase. How does Coinbase make money? How does Coinbase make money? Drop in the comments. How does Coinbase make money? Liquidity, fees. Exactly. They provide liquidity, and anytime someone does an exchange, like swaps dollars for Bitcoin or Bitcoin for dollars, well, Coinbase charges a fee to provide that liquidity for the transaction, right? That's exactly what this does, which is why I call this strategy in particular being Coinbase, because that's exactly what you're doing. Every time someone exchanges their Bitcoin for Tether or Tether for Bitcoin, they're paying a tiny fee, 0.05%, right? You see that, 0.05%? Whereas Coinbase charges more like 1.5%. So this is 0.05%. So anyone that knows how to use DeFi deeply prefers to do any swaps, any exchanges in DeFi, not on Coinbase, because they're paying a fraction of the fee, right? They're paying, what is that? 3% of the fee they would pay on Coinbase, right? Where they'd pay about 1.5% on Coinbase. Here they're paying 0.05%. But that fee that they pay, guess where that goes? To you, the liquidity provider, because you are Coinbase. And even though this has been around almost 7 years, which by the way, I've been in DeFi its entire existence. So you're not gonna find someone that knows much more about DeFi than I do. I've used it a ton. And it used to be way harder and shittier to use, don't get me wrong. But it's beautiful now. And the ability to be Coinbase and let my money just sit here and work for me to acquire Bitcoin and stablecoin every single day while I sleep, while I eat, while I talk to you. Especially during these times that I was talking about, right? Where it all just looks very uncertain to me. You know, the stock market valuations are at their all-time highs. It's very concerning. We have this war going on. I don't know how that's going to turn out. There seems to be a real struggle for power in the world going on, mostly between America and China. And I don't know what this is going to look like. But if I can just take my cash and put it over here and get this kind of yield on it that pays me in Bitcoin so that I'm just acquiring Bitcoin every day for the long term. And it's also paying me in stablecoin, cash, for me to, well, having cash ain't bad. But if the markets do end up taking a big drop, which I lean that they will, I will have cash to buy, right? So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm doing. Put a 1 in the chat if that sounds like something you should have implemented in your strategies. Yeah, 1's coming in. And frankly, it's about the only thing I'm doing because I don't really want to buy anything. And I don't necessarily want to short anything either. So, you know, gold is very high, the stock market is very high, oil is very high, Bitcoin's in this kind of zone where I think it's going to go lower, although buying even here at about 80 isn't bad for the long term, nor was it in the 60s. But I don't necessarily want to be sitting there in spot. So instead, I'm having most of my cash just work for me, gaining me yield every day, knowing that I'm not locked up to anything. Because I can withdraw my liquidity whenever I want. I can claim my fees whenever I want. I can add to this whenever I want, if I want. I can have it in multiple different places, right? I showed you, here's one place I'm doing it, right? That's paying about 158% currently. Here's another place I'm doing it, paying me stablecoin and Coinbase Bitcoin at about, well, that can't be. That's insane. Did it just jump up to that? No. That can't be right. That's insane. Well, for some reason, that just jumped up to 600%. Don't expect to get that. This is more around 100%. And then a third place where I have my Coinbase, Bitcoin, and stablecoin paying me about 159%. So how does all this work, right? So you see these numbers here. This is the price of Bitcoin. Here's the current price of Bitcoin, just under 79,000. So right here, I can set this up and say, hey, you know what? As long as Bitcoin is between these two prices, I'll provide liquidity. And if I provide it in this range currently, it's paying me about 160%, okay? And yes, you need a wallet to do this. Yes, you need to know some basics about how to use the blockchain and stuff like that. But it is well worth acquiring the skill to be able to do this. right? And there are other things that you can do too. This is being Coinbase. I think this is the most important, most valuable skill, and it certainly pays the best. But you could also be the bank, and that'll pay you yield just on straight dollars. Let me see if I can get a site to load up here, and I'll show you what some current like stablecoin lending yields are. This site's having a little trouble. I don't know why. You reload it. So looks like currently I'm able to get like around like 6% yield if I were to just provide straight dollars. Looks like I can get somewhere around 5-6% on this site. Maybe around, what would I get on stable as well? Hell, I mean, this one's paying around 12% currently. That's interesting. On Tether, right? On Tether, around 11-12%. But this has been floating around more like 8%. Today's just kind of an update. The interest rates fluctuate. And that one's simple because you just lend dollars and you get a yield on it. And you can withdraw your dollars whenever you want. And you may be thinking, well, what are the risks? Well, you're going to be thinking, well, what if someone borrows my money and doesn't pay me back? And I'm going to tell you, not possible. Because in order for them to borrow that money, they have to put up collateral that's worth more than whatever they're going to borrow. So say they want to borrow $1,000 of your stablecoin, and it's all done automated. You don't need to approve anything or look through anybody. The system does it all for you, and you can withdraw your money and your yield whenever you want. But say you put $1,000 in there, okay? Put $1,000 in, and people are constantly borrowing and paying back the money they borrow from you. But before they can ever borrow that $1,000, they probably have to put up $1,500 to $2,000 in collateral. That collateral might be Solana, it might be Bitcoin, it might be Ethereum, might be something like Hyperliquid, might be other stablecoin. But here's the thing, like if they say they put up $1,500 in Bitcoin to borrow your $1,000 of stablecoin, if that Bitcoin goes down to being worth say $1,200, the system will automatically liquidate their Bitcoin to pay you back plus interest. So you don't have to worry about any of that, right? I would say the biggest risks we deal with, which I think in today's day and age, if you know what sites to use, if you're using the most liquid, the ones with the best history, the ones with the strongest founders, I think this risk is pretty low, but a site could get hacked. That's a risk that could happen. I put it as a very low risk. It's literally not something I worry about, but I tell you that. The biggest risk by far is you not knowing what to do, you making mistakes when you send stuff around, you leaking your seed phrase for your wallet. You're the biggest risk. So you got to be careful with what you do. Be careful with what you click and what you approve, okay? So that's why I only use a few sites, because I've been doing this a long time and there's really only a few that I really trust, okay? And then the other strategy I call this strategy here I call being the bank, where you're just lending stablecoin and getting a nice yield on it, like 6 to 10%, which is solid. Good luck getting that anywhere else in the world that doesn't exist. U.S. Treasuries pay about 4% right now, and that's good based off the last 15, 20 years. Almost 20 years, actually. But my favorite is being Coinbase. There's also one more strategy called being the casino. And that's exactly like it sounds. So instead of lending money like you're the bank, you're lending money as if you're the house. So people do borrow your money to do longs and shorts and do trading. I think of them as gamblers because well over 90% of traders do not make money in the long run. They might win a trade here and there, but in the long run, they lose money. So being the house, pretty good spot to be. One of my favorites over the last year paid almost 49%, but that yield keeps going down. So I don't know what the day-to-day rate is, but that is what they paid over the last year. I expect that to continue to go down. And that's just by being the casino. So the three main strategies really in DeFi are being the casino, being the bank and being Coinbase. Being Coinbase is by far my favorite because I can consistently get 100% yield and acquire Bitcoin and stablecoin. But you can also acquire Solana and Ethereum and Hyperliquid token. Let me know in the chat. Rank the coins you want to acquire: Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, Hyperliquid. Rank those coins in what's the number one coin you would like to accumulate? Let me know. Of those four, what's the number one coin you would like to accumulate? Stuff like Ledger Wallet or another type wallet. I typically use a Ledger Wallet. It's the safest. Ethereum 1, Solana 2, Bitcoin 3. Because I'm asking because I can also pull up some pools and see what kind of yields we're getting on like Ethereum and Solana. Because I've been showing the Bitcoin one. Obviously, I'm really only focused on Bitcoin and stablecoin, but there's great yields to be had on Ethereum and Solana also. So it looks like you guys are interested in Ethereum and Solana. XRP isn't something you can do this with because DeFi essentially doesn't exist on XRP because no one uses it. And you don't want me to show you how much it's not used. If you're an XRP fan, it's going to really kick you in the nuts. So I'm not even going to show it. Does Alto work? I'm not sure what Alto is. Gambling is a disease. So I like to be the house. I like to be on the other side. I don't really like to gamble. So let me pull up some. Let me go back. Let me find an Ethereum pool. Let's just look at a few. So here's actually a pool where you can be earning Ethereum and Bitcoin. So anytime someone swaps from Bitcoin to ETH or ETH to Bitcoin, you'd be getting that fee there. Let's click on that one and go in here and see what kind of yield we can get. Looks like if we were trading here, because this is essentially, how much Bitcoin does it take to buy one Ethereum, okay? So currently it is somewhere between this much Bitcoin to buy one Ethereum, okay? And it's paying about 45, 46% currently. That yield would be getting paid to you in Ethereum and Bitcoin. Current yield about 45%. These do fluctuate, right? This could fluctuate to over 100, it could fluctuate down to 20. But the average over time, I don't know because I don't use this pool, but I'd imagine it's somewhere around probably 30 to 60% acquiring ETH and Bitcoin for you. So let me go back and see if I can find, this is probably the main Ethereum stablecoin pool. Let's click on this one. So currently, as long as you're trading, as long as it's between this price, that's when you're getting fees, you'd be earning over 200%, it looks like. Half of it paid to you in Ethereum, half of it paid in stablecoin, okay? Now, when the price goes out of these ranges, you do need to readjust them. So mostly this is a passive strategy, but you do need to pay attention. Like if Ethereum goes above this price or below this price, you need to readjust the range to get back in position to get yield. I would say that that pool right there is probably the best Ethereum stablecoin pool in existence. I would say that's, if you want to be doing it, that's probably the one to use, the top one. Let's go to somewhere that's really good to acquire Solana. So let's go to here. So this one right here, Solana USDC, it's done almost $123 million in volume, this pool, in the last 24 hours. It's got $30 million in it, right? People like you and me have deposited $30 million, okay? And it's accumulated $49,000 in fees in the last 24 hours. So let's go into that pool. So again, yield to be paid in Solana and USDC. Let's go here and look, right? Currently, Solana price is 87. So if you had the range set between that and that, you'd be earning 279%. Now that's higher than usual, although I don't really use this pool very much. because I'm only focused on acquiring Bitcoin and stablecoin myself. I'd imagine that this is higher than usual, right? But to think that over time this pool averages over 100%, right? Paying you in Solana and stablecoin is probably fair. Let's go over here and see. Here's one if you wanted to acquire Ethereum and Solana. Looks like it has 15 million in volume, has about 6.3 million in deposits from people like you and me. Let's click on it. Current price, it takes 27 Solana to buy 1 Ethereum. So the range here, paying about 145%, right? And it would be paying you in Ethereum and Solana. Not bad. Let's look at one more, because I saw one more I wanted to look at. This is kind of interesting. This is Bitcoin and Bitcoin. Bitcoin and Bitcoin. Let's click on that one. So you'd be acquiring Bitcoin and Bitcoin. Bitcoin and Bitcoin. And looks like it's paying 50%. 50%. So this is literally, you're holding Bitcoin. That's it. You're just holding Bitcoin, and instead of just holding it, getting nothing, you're holding Bitcoin that is paying you 50% yield on your Bitcoin, paying you in Bitcoin. What the fuck? Isn't that crazy? Put a 1 in the chat. If going through your mind, you're like, why don't I hear about this more? Put a 1 in the chat. If you're thinking, why don't I know about this already? Why don't more people talk about this? Can you set the parameters wider? You can, but your yield will go down. So it's finding a balance of where you want, how much, because if you have a wider range, you're going to get a lower yield, whereas a tighter range, you'll get a higher yield. So it's finding that, but the tighter the range, you're going to have to adjust it more often, making you more active. Wider range is more passive. So wherever your happy medium is. Some 1s coming in. You want to know why you don't hear about this more? Because all your favorite influencers and shit like that, they don't know how to do any of this. They don't know how to do any of it. Way less than 1% of people in crypto have the skill of DeFi. But the thing is, anyone can get this skill. It's not like trading. Like, trading's hard as shit. This is passive. Like, I can just put my Bitcoin, like I could literally just put my Bitcoin right there. And anytime someone swaps from Wrap Bitcoin to Coinbase Bitcoin, or vice versa, they pay a little fee, 0.01%. That fee goes to me. And currently it's paying about close to 50%. It changes based on how much volume is going through here, but currently it's around 50%. It's like I have Bitcoin, if I were in this pool, that's paying me 50%. You're just holding Bitcoin. So someone asked, what's the catch? You know, there's not really much of a catch. I would say in the being Coinbase strategy, the biggest catch is that it's not completely passive, is that you do need to adjust the positions when it goes out of range. And there's something called impermanent loss. Sounds way worse than it is. What it means is, say I'm in a Bitcoin stablecoin pool. Well, as Bitcoin goes down, it takes my stablecoin and buys Bitcoin. So it's kind of like a DCA on the way down, right? And when the price goes up, it sells my Bitcoin for stablecoin, okay? The impermanent loss is that when the price goes down, right, it's buying Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin, is that you're taking an impermanent loss, right? Just as if you were holding Bitcoin and the price went down, you would be having a loss, but it wouldn't be permanent because the price of Bitcoin is going to go back up eventually, in my belief. So that's what's happening in liquidity pools, is that impermanent loss, where when the price of the main asset, the Bitcoin, goes down, you're constantly acquiring more Bitcoin. So on the way down, it's actually, in my opinion, not in my opinion, it's mathematical. It's a great DCA on the way down, because every time, right, when Bitcoin price goes down, that stablecoin gets swapped for Bitcoin, okay? And then I readjust my position, sell some of my Bitcoin to get stablecoin back. If Bitcoin price goes down, I'm buying more Bitcoin. So I'm DCAing on the way down, right? But when it goes up, my Bitcoin's constantly getting sold for stablecoin. So the money that I put in there to get the yield, I don't really plan on that going much up or down in value in the long term. I'm really doing it for the yield. It's as if I had $10,000 cash and I could get 100+% yield that would be paid to me half in Bitcoin, half in stablecoin. And I don't really care if the $10,000 goes down a bit or up a bit, right? And I don't expect it to go up a lot in the long term. I don't expect it to go down a lot in the long term. I expect it to stay about the same. That $10,000 I put in, probably going to stay about $10,000 in the long run. But all that yield I get over time is the juice, right? It's like DCAing for free. You understand that? Like imagine you got 10,000 bucks and every day for free, it just DCAs a little Bitcoin and gives you a little stable coin every day, right? What that example I gave of 2,500 at 100% yield, it's paying you about $7 a day. Half of that Bitcoin, half of that in stable coin. So it's DCAing for you, it's working for you every single day. And over the course of a year, if it averages out to be about 100%, which is very reasonable, that's about $2,500, half in Bitcoin, half in stablecoin, plus I have my initial probably $2,500 that I put in. So all of a sudden, I'm at about 5,000 bucks, but half of it is Bitcoin. And maybe that Bitcoin's worth less than $1,250 at the end of the year, but I know it's going to be worth more than that over time. And I can take that stablecoin that I have, maybe Bitcoin's at a really attractive price, and I'll just go buy more Bitcoin. Or maybe I want to buy Amazon stock and it's way down. Whatever, right? I put my money here, my cash, and every day it pays me a little Bitcoin and a little stablecoin. As the price fluctuates, goes out of range, I got to readjust it. I'm probably hurting your heads a little bit, but that's how it works, okay? Is that pretty exciting stuff? Thinking about that possibility? Put a 1 in the chat if you're like, I need to acquire this skill. This is something I need to learn now. Because, think about if you learned this a year ago. Think about all that you would have acquired over the last year. Crazy, right? A lot of 1s came in. So this isn't like trading, right? Trading is hard. Most traders never make money because it's really hard. This isn't that. This is a skill like tying your shoe. Once you learn to do it, you do it, right? But learning to do it can be pretty bumpy, right? Learning how to use this wallet, how to transfer money over here, how to adjust ranges, all these little nuances. But once you know them, you know them. There's no one that can't learn to tie their shoe. There's no one that can't learn to ride a bicycle. There's no one that can't learn to drive a car, right? Trading is like, it's trading. It's crazy. This isn't that. Anybody can learn to do this. Anybody. So you got really 2 ways to go. You either go learn it all yourself, which is kind of a more painful, which is what I had to do because I got into DeFi when it was brand new. I had to learn it all on myself and I got kicked in the balls a lot of times learning the ropes, right? So you can go that way and you'll learn it, but you'll take bumps and bruises and mistakes along the way, or you have someone teach you how to do it step by step to avoid the pitfalls and get yourself up and running as fast and easily as possible. Put a 1 in the chat if you would rather have someone teach you. You don't even need to do that, obviously. So if it's okay with you, I did put together an offer for me to help you do this with you. Let me know if it's okay if I share the offer with you. If not, that's fine. You learned some good things here today. I wish you well. But if you would like to hear what I have to offer where I actually help you do it with you, let me know if that's okay if I share it with you, because I did put something together. Let me know. Yes or no? Because I don't want to, because people get touchy about people offering services or products. Where I mostly have this, the offer I have together is both. It's got products for you, educational, as well as service, where I actually do it with you. Okay, I'm literally, I got a couple yeses. I'm gonna assume it's okay to share this with you. Okay, if not, that's fine. You can leave, no harm, no foul, whatever. But for those of you that want to hear it, I'm gonna go through it. I put together this offer to teach you all of this, and be sure to be here for the whole thing, because I put a lot of thought into this and a lot of work to be able to help someone go from knowing nothing about any of this to being able to do all of it very quickly with no mistakes, going straight to the best sites, doing the best things, and doing it as painlessly and fast as possible. And I call it the magnetic investor program. And I call it that because think about it. Like, if I put money over here in the Being Coinbase strategy, every day it's acquiring Bitcoin and stablecoin. That means my money I put in there is acting like a magnet. It's sucking in Bitcoin and stablecoin into my pocket, pretty much completely passively, right? So it's a magnet. So that's why I call it the magnetic investor program. And everything I'm putting in here is to help you become what I call a magnetic investor, which is my favorite strategy. You see why, right? Because I use my money, I turn it into a magnet and let it pull in Bitcoin and stablecoin. But you can use it to pull in Ethereum and Solana also, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna have in here is the Be the Bank strategy. These are all step-by-step video trainings, by the way. Step-by-step videos, do this, do that, showing you exactly what to do. This is the Be the Bank strategy, which is the one we had where we just take dollars and people borrow it and they pay us interest, okay? I have that whole training showing you how to do that. I also have the Be the House strategy, which is the one where we're playing against the gamblers and they're borrowing our money and they're trading with it. They're paying us interest, and every time they lose, we also get that money, okay? Very powerful. The Be the Bank, Be the House, and of course, the Being the Coinbase strategy, which is my favorite one that I kept showing you, where we would provide, like, say, Bitcoin and stablecoin, or ETH and stablecoin, or Solana and stablecoin, or ETH and Solana, and really be a magnet to pull in more step-by-step video trainings. Each of them I put at $997 value. So those are the first three things that I put in there. 3 trainings, videos, step-by-step, Be the Bank, Be the House, Be Coinbase. Total value, $2,991. And those are the 3 strategies in all of DeFi. Those are the 3 things that you can do in DeFi. You can be the casino, you can be the house, you can be Coinbase, or Robinhood if you think of it that way, but Coinbase since we're in crypto. Those are really the only 3 things that you do in finance, period. And of course, those are the 3 things you do in DeFi, okay? But I thought, how can I make this even better? And I included a bonus. Here's first bonus. I'm gonna include a 3-month membership to my private school community, right? In here, you'll be able to reach out directly to me. You can also hop on video calls with us, because we do community office hours periodically, right? So like this, but it's a very small number of people, and we can like literally talk to each other, right? You're writing comments in here, but instead you're talking to me and I'm talking to you, like we're on a video call. And obviously we have the chat in there, and you're around other people that actually invest in themselves, that are actually serious investors. Because in my experience, 98% of crypto investors aren't really serious. They're just gamblers. They just want to play the meme coin game. They just want to know what's going to get them rich really quick. And they'll never admit it, but they're not interested in learning new things or acquiring skills like this. They don't want any of it. They just want to gamble, and they're confused, in my opinion. That's why I started this whole thing out, the beginning of the stream, talking to you, being like, odds are you're probably someone that invests in themselves, that acquires skills, that isn't a gambler, that thinks long-term, because that is who this is best for. And that's who I'm best for. So if that's you, it's good stuff. So I put a total value on that of $600 because I charge $200 a month to be a member in this community. Really, it's worth a hell of a lot more than that, but I got to put a number on it. So you get the 3 trainings, video training, step-by-step, be the bank, be the house, be Coinbase, and bonus 1, 3 months of school, because in that way, you get support directly from me and other members of the community, and we have the office hours that we do every so often. So if you got a question, you can just hop right in. Either someone in the community is going to answer it or I'm going to answer it. Odds are I'm going to answer it. I'm in there multiple times a day, but you're going to get your stuff answered quick from people that know what they're doing. You know what I mean? And every so often we'll have office hours. So if you have something that comes up that you just can't figure out through us telling you what to do, we can always just troubleshoot through it. Because I promise you, I have been through everything. There ain't a damn thing I can't figure out what's going on. And it's typically just user error, because you're newer and you just don't have the experience. That's why it's important to have people around that have done this stuff and know how to do it. So you get the trainings and you get support. That's really what this is. And I included another bonus, which is lifetime access to my custom buy-sell indicator. A $5,000 value on that because it's lifetime access. You know, I charge around $100 a month for this, but you get it for free for life. And let me show you what that looks like real quick. See if I have it up on a screen here. So it's these buy-sell symbols right here, okay? And it also comes with this indicator down here, which I really, really, really love. You'll get this also, but I just want to show you the buy-sell indicator, right? Let's go. I find this to be accurate over 70% of the time. Over 70%, 70% of the time. Watch. So let's just pick a chunk. What am I on? I'm on Bitcoin, right? Yeah, I'm on Bitcoin. So let's just go, let's start down here, okay? Obviously this buy is a winner. So let's count, maybe that's too many. Maybe we'll just start, we'll do it, all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 signals, 27. Let me write that down up here so I remember. 27, okay. 27, so let's go back here and look. How many are winners? Okay, that's a winner. Let's spread this out a little bit. That's a winner, that's not. So let's count the winners. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see if this one's a winner. That one's a winner because it went lower here. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That one's not a winner. Neither is that. That is 20, 21, 22. That's a big one. Not a winner. 23, because it still went down a little bit. 24. 24 winners that were directionally correct. Were they all huge moves? No, they were not. But they were directionally correct, starting back here. Some of them were big. Some of them were small. A few were losers, all out losers. But you can see, I spent a lot of time making this indicator. And you just saw when I just did, this is the daily chart. I looked at the last 27 symbols, I started here. And 24 of them were directionally correct, meaning that when the signal popped up, price still went lower from there, if only by a little bit. Some of them were big, some were small, but they were still directionally correct. That's why I put that kind of value on it. You know, just to show I'm not screwing around, let's find something else. How about, I don't know, let's find another chart. How about, I don't know, should we do Meta? I don't know, let's do Meta, let's pull it up. Let's go back here. I mean, look at that buy signal, nailed that. Check this out. I don't know where to start. How many do we got here? Let's count back like 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we'll start at this one, 15. All right, so that's a winner, obviously. That one's not. So 2, 3, 4, not a winner. 5, not a winner. 6, 7, 8, 9, not a winner. Slight winner, 10, 11. So 11 out of 15 on Meta, right? That's over 70%. It's about 70%, right? 11 out of 15. And that's what you're gonna find on anything you look at, is that it's gonna be right around 70% of the time, usually a little bit more. So again, I threw that in there just because I wanted to give you something else very useful to use in any way that you see fit, whether you trade or you're just buying spot, whatever. So I threw that in there, okay? So you're getting the 3 step-by-step video trainings, be the bank, be the house, be Coinbase. You're getting the 3 months of school where you get access to me and other members in the community. You can just ask me a question, ask them a question, plus we have private streams that we do, and you get lifetime access to that indicator. But then I thought, how can I make sure? How can I make 100% sure that you're able to acquire this skill in the most painless, efficient way possible with 100% certainty? That. I'm including as a bonus, which I never, ever, ever, ever do this. And this is the number one thing I get asked for by far. People hit me up and ask me to do this for them every single day. You're gonna get a 1 hour done with you Zoom call where we're gonna set up whatever positions you wanna set up, and you'll have me doing it there with you. I call it an hour, but it's gonna take as long as it takes. The call's gonna be over once you have your position set up that you want to set up. And it's only available on this. And I got to tell you, I went back and forth as to if I wanted to do this, because I never offer this, ever. But I thought, listen, if someone's serious and they really want to do this, this is the thing that can make sure they get it set up as safely and fast as possible, is if I do it with them. So we'll hop on a Zoom call, we'll set up whatever positions you want to set up, ask me some questions on the call if you want, and we're going to be on there till you get your positions opened. Frankly, I put an hour, maybe it takes a little less, maybe it takes a little more, but we're going to get your position set up, and I'm going to do it with you, right? Is there any doubt in your mind? I'm going to ask you, is there any doubt in your mind that if I do it with you, is there any doubt that you couldn't get this set up if I do it with you? Yes or no? Let me know. Because if there is, let me know. Maybe there's something else I can include in here to remove any uncertainty, but with me doing it with you, I can just literally walk you through it and do it with you and navigate this, navigate that. I put a $1,500 value on it, but it's something I just really don't even offer. So everything you're gonna get the 3 step-by-step video trainings, be the bank, be the house, be Coinbase, right? This is where you lend money and get interest on it. You lend money and you act as a casino, and you lend it to the gamblers and they pay you back with interest. Plus when they lose trades, you get that money. And this is be Coinbase, where you're just providing liquidity and gathering fees. These are the 3 things you do to be a magnetic investor. Plus, as the bonuses, I put in the 3 months of school, which is really top-notch support for you, because I'm in there. You can even just ask me a question. And we even do office hours, which are just small private streams for school members. okay? Lifetime access to the buy sell indicator, $5,000 value, and you get this bonus, which for all I know, I never even offer this again. You get the 1 hour. If it takes longer, it takes longer. If it takes less, it takes less. But you get a Zoom call with me. I put a $1,500 value on. This is not something that I ever offer. It's something people ask me for every day, and I literally never do it. But you get on a Zoom call with me, and we'll set up your positions. I'll do it with you, right? Avoid the mistakes, do it all efficiently, and we'll record it, and you'll get to have it. And you still get to keep all of this stuff. These trainings are yours forever. You get the 3 months here, you get this forever, and you'll get the recording of this, and obviously you get that call with me. Total value, $10,091, okay? That's the value I put on it. And I think, obviously I'm not gonna charge you that, right? But if I did, I wanna be clear. Would it be worth it? Would it be worth $10,000? Like, think about it. Think people spend 6 figures to go to college for 4 years and get a degree just to go out into a marketplace that doesn't even really want them, right? And they have all this debt that has interest attached to it, and they were never taught about money, right? This is a skill that literally teaches you how to put money here and passively let it grow into more money at a very nice yield. Acquire Bitcoin, acquire stablecoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Over the course of time, would that skill pay you a lot more than $10,000? You're damn right, and you know it would. You know it would. So when I put a value of $10,000 on that, it's really the skill, because that's what you want out of all this. You want the skill of being able to use DeFi, right? Of being able to be a magnetic investor, to be able to put your money here and have it just attract Bitcoin and stablecoin and Ethereum and Solana passively and just grow and grow and grow. That's what you want, right? Is that skill worth $10,000? It's worth a lot more than that. But like I said, I'm not going to charge you that. But then I thought, well, then what should I charge? I thought about charging $4,000. I thought it'd be insane value, right? $4,000. I mean, that Zoom call alone with me, plus the trainings that I made, and the 3 months of the school group, so all that support, knowing that at any point, you can always just reach out to me or someone in the community and get any question you got answered. Not to mention all the things you learn from being in the community, as well as the office hours on it, and that indicator. Do not discount that indicator. So $4,000, I'm like, yeah, obviously $4,000 is a no-brainer. But then I thought, that's with inflation and stuff like that, I don't want to make this like completely out of reach for too many people. I want to make sure enough people can get it. So then I thought, $2,000 to acquire this skill, right? For me to literally hand you the keys, hand you the video trainings, hop right into the community group and actually get the call with me where I walk you through it and do it with you. $2,000, that alone, just to hop on the call with me and have me do it with you, that's worth $2,000 easy. So that was going to be the price. And I thought for sure that's the price, and I was going to do it. And then last second, I thought, maybe I can make this even more attainable for people. Maybe I can make this a little bit more, and I'll just make this an incredible, dumb no-brainer. That anyone serious, anyone that thinks, yes, I want this skill, I understand the value of it, I absolutely need to get this, that this makes it attainable for them, but still allows me to really dump the resources in, including getting on the call with me and all the school group and everything. So, like I said, it's not going to be $4,000. It's not going to be $2,000. And I want to remind you what you're getting. You're getting 3 complete step-by-step video trainings, multiple videos in each of these. But there's no fluff. They're step-by-step. How to be the bank, be the house, and be Coinbase. And the 3 months of school, that bonus, where you get access to me. You can ask me questions. You can ask me questions on the call. You can ask me questions in the group, right? On the group call and in the group. You get access to the indicator, which you saw how powerful and good that is. And then you get the call with me, the Zoom call, where I do it all with you. Total value, $10,091. But I want you to ask you one more question. Everything I showed you there, it's basically like having a money printer, right? If you put money in here, it's printing Bitcoin for you. If you put it over here, it's printing Ethereum and stablecoin for you. If you put it over here, it's printing Bitcoin and stablecoin for you, right? It's just printing it, magnetizing all of it to you. But it's like having a money printer. That's the only way that I can really put it. And can you accept now, knowing that this exists, can you accept not having it? Or do you need to have it? Now that you know this exists, do you need to have it? And as I told you before, there's two ways you can go. You can do it on your own. It's going to be filled with more potholes and going to be a bumpier road and you're going to get beat up. But if you decide to get there, you will get there. It'll just be a less comfortable path. But by taking me up on this offer, you just pay a small toll and you get me the extra down this beautiful road and you get there fast with as little pain as possible. Okay? Just trying to set the stage. This to 50 spots, actually I meant to change that. It's less than 50 spots. But you'll get all of this for just one payment of $997. Go to dailycryptobull.com and claim it. And it's only up during this call. There's the link, take a screenshot. All of that for just $997. You get all of this, the step-by-step video trainings, 3 months in the school community, lifetime access to the indicator, the Zoom call with me to do it with you so that you 100% get your stuff set up. Total value $10,091 during this stream that you're on right now, $997. Go over there to get it. When this stream is over, which is going to be in like 5 to 10 minutes, that price goes away and the offer is gone. So you have about 10 minutes. Go over there and get it if you're serious about acquiring this DeFi skill. Again, I'm positive there is zero doubt in your mind that you can do this, especially since I'm going to do it with you. To acquire this skill, right? If we go up here, let's say you got $2,500, right? To put in to the liquidity pool. How long is it going to take you to get back $997? Let's do some math. You're going to get, with the pools I show you and the way I show you to do them, you're going to get about 100% yield. So let's go 2,500 divided by 365 equals that, okay? So now let's multiply that by 997, or divide. And my math sucks. 997 divided by about $7. 142 days, right? What is that? 4 months? 4.5 months? And then you've already paid yourself back. Not to mention what that Bitcoin that you've acquired is going to be worth, or that Ethereum or Solana in the long run. So I'm going to be on the stream for like 7 more minutes. If you want to go take me up on the offer, go over to dailycryptobull.com. It's $997. In about 7 minutes, I'm going to close the doors. I mean, I don't mean to be all abrupt like that, but I got to get out of here by 2 o'clock. It's 1:49 right now. And I went through it. I've showed you all of it. I showed you how all of it worked. Are you the type of person that takes action and just like, I know I want this? Or do you hem and haw and procrastinate? And I'm not meaning to judge. I'm just saying, like, if I'm going to get on a call with people, I want them to be action takers, because you're just going to get the most results and I get the most joy out of that. So, all right, I'm out of here in like 5-6 minutes. So ask me any questions on this that you have. Ask me any questions. I'll just sit here for 5-6 minutes. Maybe anyone that would have asked a question is already over going and getting it. But I'm gonna sit here for 5-6 minutes and then I gotta end the stream and go. After that, the offer is gonna be gone, but ask me any questions in the meantime right here, if you have them. Is there anything else I could add to this to get you over the fence? How could I make this better? Because I don't know how I could make it better. I just truly don't. I put a lot of thought into this, but I'm open to ideas. How could I make it even better? It's not lowering the price. I've made it stupid amount of value for the price. I mean, $1,000 today, it's not much money. It's just not. $1,000 25 years ago, yeah, sure, that's a good chunk of change. But today, $1,000, plenty of regular people pay that much just for a monthly car payment. And that doesn't make them any money, right? This is acquiring a skill that it literally teaches you how to have your money passively make more money. Acquire Bitcoin, acquire stablecoin, Ethereum, Solana at 100% yields. And I'm gonna literally do it with you, so it's gonna be the smoothest possible road. I gotta go in 4 minutes. In 4 minutes, I gotta go. Ask me any questions if you have any. I just don't have a whole lot else to say. I think I tried to do a pretty good job going through what all of this is, how it works, so that you can understand that. Can your funds be pulled out at any time, or is there a waiting period to withdraw? That's a good question. They can be pulled out at any time. There is no waiting at all. It's completely what's called permissionless. No one needs to give you permission to use it. No one needs to give you permission to withdraw. You can withdraw your money. You can withdraw some of your money. You can just withdraw your yield that you made. You can do whatever you want. That's a good question. There is no limitation or approvals needed. You could literally withdraw all of your money and your yield in 15 seconds, like that, straight back to your wallet. And you can also deposit funds in 15 seconds. You can add to it, you can take from it, you can take a portion of it out if you want. You can just take your yield. You can do whatever you want. That's a good question. Here's the link again. dailycryptobull.com. And do I have the site up? That's not it. And that's the site. That's what it should look like, dailycryptobull.com. I'm gonna end the stream in like 2-3 minutes, which means that the offer is gone. You can see right here, one payment, $9.97, you get all of this. All that stuff I showed you. But after that, in like 2-3 minutes, this page is gonna be completely gone, and it's just gonna say offer gone, and you won't be able to get it. I do that because I never like to reward procrastination, and I like to encourage taking action, right? $1,000, it's just not much money, especially to acquire a skill like this, right? Which is worth very easily a lot more, right? I mean, you could, that's why one thing I asked you guys early on was, how much would you feel comfortable putting into this? The average was about $2,500. Some people said 10,000, some people said 500. I thought 2,500 was probably about what most people had. But after you use it, believe me when I say you're going to find a way, every time you get paid, you're going to be adding money to it, because you're going to be like, well, there's just not a better place to put my money. I can put it here and it just gives me free Bitcoin and stablecoin every day, or Ethereum and Solana if that's what you want, or Hyperliquid. Those are the main ones I use. There are other ones you can use, but I just don't think they're safe enough or worth it. So I only show you the ones that I use, that I've learned to use through years of experience. I show you how to best use them, how to use them safely, and everything in between. And then of course there's that call, the Zoom with me, when I'll do all this with you. So I'll walk you through everything, whatever positions you want to add. You will have a couple setup steps just to make sure that you have the things so that you can do it. Like you'll have to set up a wallet, very easy. I have a video showing you exactly how to do it. It's super simple. And you'll have to have funds in that wallet to do it. Super simple. I show you how to do that in the videos. But then I'll walk you through figuring out which sites you want to use, which position you want to be in, show you what to do, how to navigate it, answer questions you have, kind of teach you some of the little nuances and stuff like that. Can you explain what happened in a big move like a market dump and you're holding quarters in half? You're holding would not quarter in half. The value of your initial position would go down in the same way that if you were just holding Bitcoin, right? Or holding Solana or Ethereum. That's that impermanent loss I was talking about. But all you would do is you would just readjust on the way down, or if you felt like it was just going to drop a bunch, you could just close your position and wait for it to settle before you open a new position. Because one thing that's really interesting about markets, period, especially crypto, is that they spend about 85% of the time going sideways, where people aren't making money unless it's going up, where we make a lot of money when it goes sideways. So if it breaks support or something, or you think it's going to go lower, you can just close your position and just sit in cash and wait for it to settle till you want to get back in. And those are the little nuances of why being around someone with experience, like being in the school group, is so valuable. Because I've been in this for a long time, and I really got to get going in like 1 or 2 minutes. So I would say, if you understand the value of this, just go over there and go get it, because I'm going to literally take the offer away in about 1 minute, because I really got to get out of here. Someone else has this room reserved at 2 o'clock, which is in less than 3 minutes. But there's little things like that, right? Where if I'm holding Bitcoin today and it goes down to 40, am I angry? I don't love it, right? But I know it's going to go back above 80. Give it some time. I'm going to be back in the profit. But instead, I would rather be in Bitcoin and have it be acquiring more Bitcoin every single day. And there have been times like when the market went from 80 to 60, when it broke that support at about 78, 77, I just closed my position and went to cash. And it found a bottom a few days later at 60, and I just opened up a new position. Those are the little things. All right, y'all, I really got to go. Maybe this was a little too abrupt. Here's what I'm going to do. That's the link, dailycryptobull.com. The site looks like this. I'm going to leave it up because I got to pack up my bags and I got to get out of here. So it's probably going to take me about 15 minutes to get out of here and get back home. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave that price up for 15 more minutes after the stream. But that's it. And I'm not joking. You come back in 30 minutes, this is not going to be here anymore. This will just say offer gone. So there it is. I hope to see you on the other side. I really hope that I've done a good job explaining the value of this to you. I'm sure many of you understand the value, but are you going to invest in yourself? Are you going to acquire a skill for yourself that pays way more than what you paid for? Because it's all about ROI, right? $1,000 to acquire this skill, not long before it has more than paid for itself. And then think about all that Bitcoin you acquire passively. What's that going to be worth in 5 years, 10 years? Tens of thousands of dollars, probably. So it's just really a no-brainer. I hope to see you on the other side. So I got to get out of here. It'll be up for 15 more minutes. And then it will literally say offer gone. I'm not screwing around. Come back in 30 minutes. You'll see that it says offer gone. Okay. There's the link again one more time, dailycryptobull.com. Take a screenshot if that helps you. Right. All right, y'all. I got to go. Bye-bye.